everyone, welcome back. While I'm here today, I thought I would finish off this ECPE series, so we're back with the very final part 5 of the speaking exam. Alright, so to recap where we are, you have just finished part 4 of presenting and persuading your one option to the other examiner. And now the other examiner is going to ask you some questions about the options that you have chosen. Alright? So let's look at the basic information of this part. Yeah? So this is what you're doing. Okay? As I mentioned before, the examiner is going to be asking you some questions. Usually depending on what you said to him. Okay? So whatever you, whichever 2 points you chose, the examiner is going to try and turn those 2 points against you in some way. So during this stage you have to defend and justify your points to the examiner's concerns. Yeah, so it's a little tricky, this one, but it's good fun actually, really good fun to practice this. So the first thing you should kind of do is acknowledge the examiner's point, and then kind of once again persuade him or explain why this is nothing to worry about. Alright? And usually the 3 candidates seem to be asked 3 questions. One will be directed at, like, 1 to Susan, 1 to David, and then they'll be asked kind of 1 joint together. Yeah, so 3 questions, which is a little strange, but that seems to be, from my students' experience, that's generally what happens in the exam. Maybe it's something to do with time limits, I'm not sure. But 1 is directed at each candidate and 1 directed at both candidates. Alright? So, the only real tip I've got here for you is be prepared for some tough questions. Alright? So you know which points you've picked in part 4, so you can kind of think maybe, if you have time of course, how could the examiner turn this against me? Okay, and this part is really all about thinking fast. Alright, so some of you will be very good at this. You've got to make excuses or say, you know, this won't be a problem. Yeah, and I'll have to give you, I think, a worked example of this at some point so you can see exactly how I do it. I'm not going to give examples during this video. Alright, let's just have a little look at the do's and don'ts, straight into it. Alright, so during this part, respond to what the examiner said. So he's going to say, okay, thank you, you've raised some interesting points, however there's one thing I'm worried about, which is this. He's going to say it and you're going to say, yes, certainly, yeah, we were worried about that too. However, and then you've got to justify why that isn't going to be a problem. And that's what you're doing basically, yeah? So respond to what he said and then flip it round. Try to provide numerous solutions to the examiner's concern. So a lot of my candidates, when they do this exam, they'll just provide one reason, and I always try and encourage them to think of more than one. Yeah, because this is even more persuasive. If you turn around and say, well, this isn't going to be a problem because of that, and actually also because of this, and finally because of this. That's very strong. It's going to make a very good impression of the examiner, and you're going to get maximum marks from this part of the exam. Yeah? Alright, good. So, don't say, I don't know. Okay, yes, I have actually seen an ECPE examiner ask my students some questions during this part, and I was actually flinching at how hard they were. Alright, they were very, very difficult. So even though they're difficult, you have to try and answer them. You really must. You can never say, I don't know. That's an absolute disaster, especially in a proficiency exam. Alright, so that's the end of the test, guys, all the way through. Alright, so thank you very much for watching these videos. If there are any questions or anything like that, get in touch. Thanks for watching. Bye.